Thank God it is Friday. Good morning to you and thank you for tuning in to 89.3 FM, Wells Radio, your preferred wholesome radio and your state's number one family radio station. Great morning to you and I hope that it is well with you and indeed it shall be well with you. Amen. My name is Ayo Emmanuel-Ojo. Great morning to you. Welcome to the program for today. This is the program where we take you beyond the news and help you understand stories, fresh stories from the dailies from the day. We bring you the, front and headline report, and thereafter we take it higher by bringing you in-depth analysis, and it becomes even more interesting because we also create the avenue for you, dear Nigerian, to join the conversation by calling in right into the studio to share your thought and most importantly, your own perspective, just like the name of the program. It is Perspectives Unlimited. And today is Friday, the 10th day in the month of October, 2025. Welcome to the program once again. Right on the table this morning, we have the Punch newspaper. Right after the Punch, the Guardian is here, followed by the Nigerian Tribune. And from the three dailies, we're going to read for you. And right after, we take in-depth analysis. Let's begin with the Punch for today. On page 28 of the Punch, National Assembly probes NNPCL over $18 billion refinery spendings. On page 28. On page 2, Tinubu clears 959 for national honors. On page 2. On page 7, federal government moves to audit varsities over TED Fund grants. On page 7. Moving on to page 30 of the Punch, Tinubu pardons Herbert Macaulay, Vashta Farouk Lawan, 172 orders. What did they do? Why the pardon? You find it right in the Punch and most importantly on page 30 of the Punch today. Let's move on to the major story on the front page of the Punch today. On page 2, Amukito faces tough test as new INEC chair. Two riders to the story. The first one says, opposition warns against partisanship, demand urgent reforms. Another says, Tinubu, APC defend appointment, urge fairness, credibility. We're going to talk about that this morning. On page 20, Customs sees 1.9 billion naira hard drugs, expired flour at semi-border. On page 20. And on page 28, police back down on tinted glass enforcement. Police back down on tinted glass enforcement. On page 28. And on page 5 of the Punch, policeman forgets cap in Ogun student's car after extortion. Interesting times. And on page 30, Tinubu Oshun mourns as Christopher Kolade dies. You find that on page 30 of the Punch for today. Now let's move on to the Guardian. Senate backs 2026 fiscal plan spending. Review of past spending on page 3. And on the same page, court extend order freezing Osun, local government withheld bank account. On page 7, Tinubu and Yoko mourn passing of Christopher Kolade. It's also on page 7 of the Guardian today. And on the big story, pages 4 and 5 of the Guardian, World Mental Health Day, 85% unreached as Nigeria buckles under massive care gap. And you can trust the Guardian with a very interesting infographics or image right on the front page. That alone explains, what the story is all about. Let me describe that very quickly. We have the picture of a medical doctor and a patient right in front of him. The doctor with a pen and paper trying to write things down, and he said, "Your vital signs look good. I can give you something for depression." And the patient says, What about recession? And right at the back of the patient is this, snapback, like a school bag or something. But this is not a school bag. This is Ghana Must Go, but strapped to his back. And of course, inside it, we have cyberbullying on social media, ill health, advanced anxiety, financial stress, uncertainty. All of that attached to the bag of the patient. This is a typical story of the average Nigerian. On page 7, Dawn rules unregulated tuition hike, threat to student loan on page 7. World Bank report critics says federal government rhetoric contradicts Nigerians' reality. On page 6, Oshibajo, Odinkalu, Ali decry moral decline, canvass legal political reforms on page 30. On the same page, Inspector General of Police suspends enforcement of tinted glass law pending court hearing on page 30. On page 6, new INEC chairman faces pressure to rebuild trust after flawed 2023 election. And finally, in Osun State 2026, Oralusi declares bid to contest for Guber poll on page 28. And of course, that election for 2026 in Osun State. Now let's move on to our final daily on the Nigerian Tribune for today on page 29. Insecurity in Nigeria not driven by religion, Senate clarifies. On page 22, we will continue to prioritize citizens' need in Oyo budget, says Makinde. UNICEF, Dawn Commission, NLC commend the government. You find it on page 22. Now to the major story on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. Why I picked Amokutan as INEC chair on page 4 says Tinubu, Council of State approves his choice. Bill Gates, 958 orders to get national honors. New Police Trust Fund repel reenactment coming. You find that on page 4. Ekiti Gov Primary APC disqualifies Kayode Ojo on page 11. SACS Enugu State Working Committee to conduct public hearing for amendment of party constitution. And on page 3, Osun local government withheld funds, case adjourned. Court extend order freezing bank account. Osun AG's council opposes PDP. APC joined their applications on page 3. On page 11, APC chieftain Oralusi joins Osun governorship race on page 11. On page 22, Tinubu lead tribute as Christopher Kolade dies at 92 years, his life and times. And finally, Tinubu pardoned Herbert Macaulay Vasa Lawan, grant amnesty to 82 inmates on page 4 of the Tribune. That's all we can take this morning on the front page. Thank you so much for joining the program for today, and thank you for tuning in. Remember to join us live on our Facebook page. There you can watch, you can drop your perspective, you can like, and we need you to share so we can reach a bigger and wider audience. Once again, thank you for joining the program for today. You can listen live from anywhere in the world on our website, www.wellsradio893.com. Find us on Radio Garden, Wells Radio 89.3 FM from that platform and more. You can stream us live from anywhere in the world. Welcome to the program once again. This is Perspectives Unlimited on Wells Radio 89.3 FM. Great morning to you.
How can you, as a Senate of a Federal Republic, anywhere in the world, screen people without portfolio? And I'll give you an interesting incident that happened on the 1st of August when the minister appeared. Only 7 people spoke on that day out of 109, supposedly to ask him questions. 6 out of these 7 were commendations and praises from largely opposition senators who were meant to study the document and scrutinize them. In Order 120A, all ministers are supposed to have their asset declaration form submitted to NAS. It shows that we are not serious. In most cases, you see only CV and profile. And Senate too need to adjust the process so that people can have time to ask questions and get feedback. They can't politicize everything. When you politicize the process and just say bow and go, then you get the kind of result that we are getting today, which is, globally embarrassing. If we don't fix the process, then we'll continue to get this kind of embarrassment, and it's not right.
If it's a very sane society, as he is leaving the office, the anti-graft agency should step in to get him arrested so that he will not run away and leave the shore of this country. So he has left a very bad legacy for INEC, and it required a very big electoral reform and somebody with conscience that will come to right the wrong. Because the younger ones who are coming have seen Nigerian election as cash and carry. So when you are talking about legacy, the Professor Mahmoud Yakub deserved the best award for the worst electoral umpire in the whole world. That is my assessment, and I believe that will be the assessment of the majority of true Nigerians.
You're welcome back to the program. Nigerians have expressed outrage over the certificate forgery by Nigeria's Minister of Science and Technology, Ayo Emmanuel-Ojo, saying the minister should be arrested and prosecuted. A report published on Saturday revealed that Mr. Emmanuel-Ojo forged the credentials he submitted to President Bola Tinubu and the Nigerian Senate during his ministerial confirmation in 2023. Allegations of forgery have dogged Mr. Emmanuel-Ojo since July 2023, when President Tinubu named him among the first batch of the 28th ministerial nominees from 25 states forwarded to the Senate as part of the presidential initial cabinet list 2 months after taking office on the 29th of May 2023. Critics have long insisted that Mr. Emmanuel-Ojo did not complete his university education and that both the bachelor's degree and the National Youth Service Corps NYSC certificate presented to the President and the offices of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, the State Security Service SSS, and the Senate were forged. The findings, according to Premium Times, extensive examination of the documents were damning and conclusive. Both the degree certificate and NYSC discharge certificate in the minister's possession are outright forgery. And of course, from the voice we played earlier, you can hear what Mr. Okereke said in that report, referring back to the day of the screening and the culture of take a bow and go. My analyst is in the studio this morning. He's not going to take a bow. We're going to do this together. Top of the morning to you, Mr. Sonny. Good morning to you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm very well, thank you. Great morning.
Thanks.
And how was your week too?
Oh, it has been pleasant.
We thank God. Like I said, you're not taking a bow. We're doing this together. The story of the forgeries...
As always, I'm prepared.
As always. Is in the news, and if you ask me, it's highly embarrassing. It becomes more shameful, more painful when you see things like this, and especially because of the way the international community perceive Nigeria at the moment. The last place you want to expect or see this kind of embarrassment is, at that level where, a minister's certificate will be forged. Is Senator Emmanuel-Ojo, or the former minister, beg your pardon, is it the first of its kind, to experience this kind of thing? No. of, recent, the closest I can remember is Mrs. Kemi Adeosun, who used to be a commissioner in Ogun State.
Yes, for finance.
Commissioner of Finance in Ogun
Yes.
State.
And later Minister of Finance
And
under Buhari.
yes. And a very, beautiful lady with, well, maybe amazing performance, one would say. And to see all that characterized that. We've seen fingers also pointing at some of our leaders too, as to certificate forgery. Our president had a similar situation. Stella Odua is on that table. The late Muhammadu Buhari was on the same table. Even the former president, Goodluck Jonathan.
Was Buhari on that table?
I mean, at some point, the YX certificate and not YX certificate, that was all over the place. Kemi Adeosun, even Dino Melaye on that table. Ayodele Fayoshe, the former governor of Ekiti State, many certificates from the Polytechnic of Ibadan, and the conversation surrounding that.
The truth of the matter is that I don't think Fayoshe was on the table. I mean, there was noise about his certificate, but eventually he scaled through. Dino Melaye, it was just about sensation then. In reality, it was not on the table. And for Muhammadu Buhari, the Constitution says that senior school leaving certificate or its equivalent, you don't have to, and I'm talking about what the Supreme Court said here, you don't have to present a WAEC result or a NECO result. And the Supreme Court has told us that if you can function in life, if you can express yourself eloquently, not even eloquently, if you can express yourself and you understand basic English, I mean, it's as good as you have attained some level of education. And for the guys in military, they have this exemption because the military itself is like a school. And they have their own NMS, they have their own NDA. We're talking about somebody who rose to the rank of Major General. We're talking about somebody who was head of state at some point. Let's get serious. You can't say such a person is not educated to the point of a secondary school leaving certificate. Let's now go into the case of Uche Nnaji. In my opinion, Uche Nnaji shot himself in the head for no reason, not even in the foot, in the head. Because the Constitution says that all you need to present to become even the president is an SSC certificate. We can only assume that he has now. Because before you can go for NYSA, you must have a first degree certificate. Before you can be admitted into the university, you are expected to have an SSC or a NECO certificate. He managed to possess an NYSC certificate without completing university education. How sure are we that he completed SSC, secondary school education, before proceeding to the university?
Absolutely.
At this point right now, anything is possible. But even if he doesn't have any certificate, he still could have come out openly to say, I don't have any. The Supreme Court has said that you don't have to have any certificate. In the case of Bello Masari, and the former speaker, former governor of Katsina State, there was noise about his certificate. And the Supreme Court said that it would have been a different ballgame had it been submitted a fake certificate. This is a guy who was Speaker of the House of Representatives, number 4 citizen of Nigeria. This is a guy who you don't need an interpreter to converse with if you happen to be to share the same room with him and have a thing or two to discuss with him. So for that reason, in the opinion of the justices that determined the case, they felt like he is good to go. Just don't present a fake certificate. So in all seriousness, why did Uche Nnaji present a fake certificate when he knew too well he didn't have the certificate? All of this wouldn't have been happening if he had not presented that fake certificate. The Nigerian law today is against fake certificate, not against not presenting a certificate. Do I support that? Well, I have seen professors of many years that opened their mouth, and I began to wonder, who said that? Do you mean this guy is a professor? And I have seen people who have not stepped the ground of any academic setting before, and they are extremely intelligent. So for me, pardon me, I am not totally against you running to fix your country, even if you do not have formal education. formal does not necessarily mean education. Education is education. If you can think straight, as far as I'm concerned, you should be good to go. Just don't come and lie to everybody. Now people are accusing the Senate of overlooking one or two things. The Senate can only work on what they have. If you are let me tell you the process, sir. If you are nominated to be a minister today, you may not even know, but the president will forward your name to the SSS.
Even most likely before
the appointment is made known.
Before you even know about it.
Yes. That's the process. A lot of times, it's people who have one or two contacts in the SSS.
They probably will leak out the information that something is cooking.
Benny, your name is on the list. It is their duty at that particular point in time to go to every school you claim to have attended.
To do their background work.
To do their background work, to vet if actually you went there or did not go there. Go to the Nigerian police, go to the Nigerian corrections facilities, immigration. Do you have any problem with this guy? Because has this guy imported any contraband before? These are the things that the SSS should have done for us, but the SSS didn't do it. I was listening to a program yesterday where the people were making excuses for the SSS, and I totally disagreed with them. I cannot understand why Nigerians love to make excuse for people who have apparently failed. It's left for the SSS to now come out openly to say, oh, okay, we saw this flaw, we highlighted this flaw, but the president didn't heed our advice. At that particular point in time, we now exonerate them from any blame.
So you think if we're going to blame any institution of the government
it is the
for
SSS.
this irregularity that we've seen over time, it is the SSS?
Yes.
And not the Senate?
If as a senator, if I am screening you as a minister, it is not my duty to go to your primary school. It is not my duty to go to your secondary school. Wherever you might have been, that is not my duty. I am relying on what you have submitted simply because I know too that it has passed through the SSS, and the SSS must have cleaned it. If there is anything that shouldn't have been there, they would have removed it. So if it is there, it's because the SSS approved it to be there. And I must follow what the SSS has done at that particular point in time.
Could it be that the SSS or the DSS disagreed?
I don't believe there's any agency of government called the DSS.
The DSS. I mean, that's why I said the SSS or the DSS.
Let me say one of the things about that.
Yeah.
2014, there was this, in my opinion, overzealous spokesperson of the agency. And she rebranded. The name then was, I don't know if she's still alive, Marilyn Hogger. And she rebranded the agency from SSS to DSS without legislative approval. Yes, can an agency change its name? It's possible. But you'll have to go to the National Assembly to amend the act that established the agency. The decree that established the SSS established the SSS and not the DSS.
But even at the highest level in the country, that's if the president would not even refer to it as the DSS.
What do we know? The people in the country, the people leading the country clearly don't know anything, and that is why the country is in the state it is. For me, it is DSS that failed Nigeria as regards for Kemi Adeosun. I got this info then that the SSS flagged NYSC certificate, but the guy at the helm of affairs said, just NYSC. Did she go to school? The SSS said, yes, she went to school.
Is it possible to overlook the NYSC?
Well,
isn't it a criminal? Maybe
not entirely criminal, but as far as I'm concerned,
yeah.
She committed a crime at the point of presenting a forged certificate. But a court of competent jurisdiction has actually come out to say NYSC is not even compulsory. That you can function in life without having
the national
NYSC certificate. But that was after our own case. It was, if I'm not mistaken, it was a backlash of our own case that led one thing or the other to court, and a judge said that you don't have to have NYSC. So for anybody who wants to aspire to be anything today, NYSC is not a must, unless somebody appeals that judgment, and the appeal court or the Supreme Court rules otherwise. But as of today, you're good to go without NYSC.
All right, what do you expect? I mean, after this Najis situation, one would have thought by now, some strong security measures, probably is behind bars somewhere with a DSS somewhere. I mean, this is a minister. It goes beyond just a local government chairman. You're not a councillor.
Should we hit the nail on the head?
Let's see how far we can go with that and see what do you think should be done.
Okay.
At this point,
as regards what should be done, I think the SSS should be mandated to vet everybody again, every appointee again. That's number one. But is that going to happen? I doubt it. And the reason for that is that, a lot of us knew all along, but most people did not know until the Presidential Tribunal. That was when people now realized that the certificate that the president himself parades today was not given to him by the school he claimed to have gone to. That he printed the certificate on his own. It is on record. Public records are. So if you have a president like that, I mean, what do you expect? I'm not surprised. I am disappointed, but not surprised.
All right, this is still Perspectives Unlimited on Wells Radio 89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio and your state's #1 family radio station. We're going to take a break in a moment, but when we come back right after the break, the big story in the news today is about the appointment of the new INEC chairman. In the news this morning, we're going to talk about that. And of course, Amokitan faces tough test as the new INEC chairman. We're going to talk about the previous one. I want to get your review of his performance. And right after that, we dive into other...
Let me not keep you waiting, F9.
We'll look at that and more when we come back right after the break. Do stay with us.
How long will it take you to confirm payment? I have been waiting for the past 1 hour.
I'm so sorry. Our network is slow. I will just run out of data.
Same excuse yesterday. It is unacceptable, please. You better switch to One Data Internet Service.
One Data?
Yes, One Data. One Data is an internet service provider with the best alternative and solution for unlimited speed. One Data provides fast and reliable internet service to organizations, homes, and places of interest in Nigeria. With One Data, you get to enjoy the premium internet service with dedicated unlimited internet speed at all times, 24/7 fantastic customer service and support, and you enjoy a 1-month free subscription when you make payment. Now is the time to say goodbye to downtimes. Sign up with One Data today on 0811 223 2671 or visit www.onedata.ng for more inquiries. One Data, unlimited speed.
Are you ready to showcase your brand to the heartbeat of Africa's broadcasting industry? At Africast 2025, the premier gathering of broadcasters, content creators, and media innovators, your business gets the spotlight it deserves. From October 20th to 24th at the Balmoral Convention Center, Sheraton, Ikeja, Lagos, Nigeria, thousands of industry leaders and decision makers will connect, explore, and invest in the future of broadcasting. Book your exhibition booth today and put your products, services, and ideas in front of the people who matter most. Don't just attend Africast 2025. Be seen, be heard, and be inspired. Visit www.africastexpo.com or email info@nbc.gov.ng to secure your registration now. NBC, your right to quality broadcasting.
Hey, I dey miss my language oh. How you go miss your language when na im dey speak for Wazobia platform wey dey shele for Wells Radio 89.3 FM?
Haba, Wazobia platform na your program from Wells Radio 89.3 FM wey dey speak Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa plus including Pidgin, and every Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays you go hear am.
Na from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Advertise for Wazobia platform. Everybody go hear am for every corner for your state and beyond.
Wazobia platform, na people's program.
Yo, what's up?
Baby, let's go.
Hey there.
there. Want to stay connected to your favorite radio station? Follow us on social media for the latest updates, entertaining wholesome content, and behind-the-scene peaks. We're on Instagram at Wells Radio 893, Facebook Wells Radio 893 FM fan page, X Wells Radio 893. Follow our WhatsApp channel Wells Radio 89.3 FM. Get a scoop on upcoming shows, giveaways, and events. Also get to interact with your favorite presenters and share your thoughts on our posts and stories. Join the conversation and stay tuned into Wells Radio 89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio.
89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio.
How can you, as a Senate of a Federal Republic, anywhere in the world, screen people without portfolio? And I'll give you an interesting incident that happened on the 1st of August when the minister appeared. Only 7 people spoke on that day out of 109, supposedly to ask him questions. 6 out of these 7 were commendations and praises from largely opposition senators who were meant to study the document and scrutinize them. In Order 120A, all ministers are supposed to have their asset declaration form submitted to NAS. It shows that we are not serious. In most cases, you see only CV and profile. And Senate too need to adjust the process so that people can have time to ask questions and get feedback. They can't politicize everything. When you politicize the process and just say bow and go, then you get the kind of result that we are getting today, which is, globally embarrassing. If we don't fix the process, then we'll continue to get this kind of embarrassment, and it's not right.
If it's a very sane society, as he is leaving the office, the anti-graft agency should step in to get him arrested so that he will not run away and lead the show of this country. So he has left a very bad legacy for INEC, and it required a very big electoral reform and somebody with conscience that will come to right the wrong. Because the younger ones who are coming have seen Nigerian election as cash and carry. So when you're talking about legacy, the Professor Mahmoud Yakub deserved the best award for the worst electoral umpire in the whole world. That is my assessment, and I believe that will be the assessment of the majority of true Nigerians.
Welcome back to the program. Thank you for standing by, and thank you so much for joining us this morning on Perspectives Unlimited. Let's start with a story of the new appointment of the INEC chairman. Amukiton faces tough test as new INEC chair. Professor Joash Amukiton's appointment as the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission on Thursday set the stage for a major leadership test as they inherit an electoral system dogged by controversy, low voter confidence, and pressure to deliver credible elections. He was appointed following the National Council of State unanimous endorsement of the Kogi-born academic during its meeting at the Council Chamber of the State House in Abuja. He succeeded Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, whose decade-long tenure as INEC chairman ended on Tuesday. And at the meeting, President Bola Tinubu explained that his choice was based on the latter's political stance, integrity, and impeccable record of service. Tinubu told the council that Amokitan is the first person from Kogi North Central State nominated to occupy the position and is apolitical. A statement by Tinubu's special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Ononuga, quoted him as saying, council members, including serving and former leaders, backed the nomination, describing the professor as a man of proven integrity. Kogi State Governor Usman Ododo said Amokiton's track record reflect a deep commitment to justice, knowledge, and national service. Before we get to the appointment of the new professor, Johasha Amokiton, I want us to quickly, say in a minute or two, review the performance of Mahmoud Yakubu. From the voice I played earlier, it was from the man's opinion there. He said he didn't perform too well. You said F9 before we left. And I said, can we compare and contrast the performance of Atairu Jega, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu? And of course, the big question in the room, I don't know if anyone shared that same thought. Must the chairman of INEC be a professor? Can't it be a doctor, a mister? Can't it be any other person? It's been a professor and professor all along. Must it be someone from academic? Is it a compulsory? Is it constitutional? And all of that. And the big question is independent National Electoral Commission. If the president keep appointing the INEC chairman, how independent? Is that is a prefix, we call it a nomenclature of independent? Is it still feasible? Why not the National Electoral Commission? Why independent? Let's look at that and more this morning.
Thank you. As regards a brief comparison of Yakubu and Jega, I mean, you don't need a prophet before you know that Jega stands far above Mahmoud. Look at the 2023 election. It was an electoral hack that that election results were going to be transmitted online, electronically into the high rev, but it didn't happen. That's number one. Number two, if you look at our elections, something has come to be part of our elections, and it's delay. Elections that are supposed to start by 8 o'clock do not start sometimes until 10 or even, longer than 10. And that doesn't make sense to me. Look at the elections of the gubernatorial elections in Edo and Kogi. Well, INEC might say that, okay, they have declared a winner. The courts might have validated the elections of these two individuals, but it is a common secret. It is a common, it's an open secret in the political circle that even Peter Obi was teasing everybody not too long ago that, but we all know who won in Edo State now. It's not my party, but we know the party that won. And the party that won is not the party that is in power. I believe that Mahmoud Yakubu has a lot of questions as regards the Kogi and Edo elections. Those are the two. I can tell you that a lot of accusatory fingers are going in the direction of INEC. For Ondo, INEC didn't misbehave that much in Ondo. It was the people of Ondo that sold themselves out.
We saw footages all over the place.
But Edo, the people didn't collect money. They voted for a particular party, but INEC has declared what they wanted to declare, but people are still saying that that's not what we did on the day of election, and it's the same for Kogi too. Now let's talk about why it has always been professors. Professors are expected to be noble people who have reached the pinnacle of their career. And is there a career better than teaching? When you're a teacher, it's like you are imparting knowledge, you are building a new generation. You are expected, not that you are, but you are expected to be a noble person of high moral standards. Maybe that is. But Abel Gobadia the guy who started in 1999, and Dr. Heber Gobadia from Meadow State, if I'm not mistaken. He wasn't a professor, just a doctor. And as regards the president appointing, if that robs the agency of independence, I have, had time to sit down and think critically. If not the president, then who else? And some people have said, oh, maybe the legislature, but these guys are politicians as well. Some people have said, oh, maybe the Supreme Court, the CJN or whatever. And, that flew in my mind, but only for a while. I thought of one thing. Elections almost always end up in our courts in the country.
Mm-hmm.
If the CJN appointed the head of INEC, will the CJN be willing to nullify an election conducted by, because that's an indictment on the CJN. How could you have appointed somebody you would later find out is not competent for that role? That's that. But, the Constitution is not perfect. But even in its imperfections, there are buffers expected to protect some institutions. If I am not mistaken, the appointment of INEC chair is the one that passes through two different bodies. If the president wants to appoint the IGP today, the IGP doesn't have to appear before the Senate. Once the Council of State approves it, then the person becomes the IGP immediately. But for the chair of INEC, the Council of State will first of all approve it. And the Council of State does not include just the party of the president. All governors are going to be there. We have governors from the Labour Party, we have a governor from APGA, we have governors from the PDP, and also governors from the APC. You have past presidents who are still alive. And everybody carries a vote. So if you feel like this particular nominee is going to be biased or this person is partisan, you can raise up your hand and say, I'm not comfortable with this person. That is the first check. The second check is the Senate. In our Senate today, we have NNPP, we have SDP, we have APGA, we have Labour Party, we have PDP, and we have APC. In all seriousness, it can't get better than that. Right? If anybody has a superior argument, they can bring it. But for now, everybody who has a word or two to say in the field of politics is involved in the nomination. Maybe not directly, but at least you can voice out your opinion against the appointment. If anybody has a better view, they can bring it in. And it's not always in Nigeria. Even in the United States of America, it's the president that appoints the head of the election committee.
All right.
So it's like that all over the world. What I would say in concluding this particular topic is that it's still on the shoulders of the people. Appoint credible people, elect credible people as presidents.
So
when you elect,
so
when such a person makes a decision, you have anything to be.
It's a cycle.
That is it.
0916-893.
Input in, output out.
What you put in is what you get.
That is it.
0916-893-1000, 0915-3334-893, and 0911-333-893. Again, 0916-893-1000, 0915-333-4-893, and 0911-333-893. Still with that story, reminiscing on the tenure of the outgoing or outgone INEC chair, Yakubu, a PDP chieftain, Bode George, described Yakubu as a man destined to face the spirit of the poor elections he conducted. Speaking with the Punch, the elder statement says, Yakubu, I know him very well. It is sad that he had the opportunity to modernize the electoral system but failed. The same company they contracted is the same company that worked for the Ghana Electoral Commission. Have we not seen how elections are conducted in Ghana? I warned him that he would regret it. You saw what he did during the election. They stopped the process due to fatigue and said they would continue the next day. He later blamed the whole thing on technical glitch. Do you also see this? For leadership, some excuses are not pardonable. However, there are still some factors beyond your control, bottlenecks that may also hinder your performance. Do you see this whole situation as a factor beyond Yakubu's control? I look forward to Yakubu's book anyways. Someday we're also going to get a book that I know of. We see that these days that may best explain some of the irregularities that characterize his tenure. But do you see these, some of the issues here as a factor beyond this control, especially back to independent electoral commission and still being elected by a sitting president?
The truth of the matter is that what you want is what you are going to do as the leader of any organization. I don't know if you can still remember, Jega, you are corrupt. Jega, you are a crook. Have you forgotten that drama? Godsdale, Rubebe, and Jega. The government of the days of then didn't want to leave. They did a lot of drama, shenanigans, but eventually the INEC chair said that, guys, my job is not to vote. My job is to conduct an election and count the votes brought in by the people. And that is what I am doing. Who wins, who doesn't win is not my business. My job here is to tell you what the people have done, and I am going to do that. And if anything is going to affect the discharge of my duty, I am going to resign. There is provision for resignation.
Right.
If anybody is hampering you or hindering you from doing what you believe you should do, use the door. If you are not using the door, it means you are comfortable with the arrangement. That is it for me.
All right, let's move on to another story. Away from the INEC-related story, you can join the conversation this morning. Let's have your thought on the program. Let's have your thought. 0916-893-1000, 0915-334-893, or 0911-333. That's 333 and another 3, then 893. Use the lines to speak to us this morning and share your perspective. What do you think? Your own review. I'd like to have that. Your own review of Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, the outgone, chairman of INEC, and your expectation of the new, chairman of INEC. I believe it's under very serious pressure. But do you think anything will be different before we move to the next story? What are your expectations as a Nigerian of him? And do you think that this is the man who can then give it to us?
Unfortunately, I don't know this particular guy. So I may not be able to say if he's going to give us what we want or what we do not want. What I want is a case of one man, one vote without hindrance. If you can deliver that, then I'm good.
Let's move on to another story. National Assembly probes NNPCL over $18 billion refinery spending. The House of Representatives on Thursday mandated its relevant committees to investigate the non-functionality of state-owned petroleum refineries in Port Harcourt, Warri, and Kaduna, despite the use of about $18 billion for the rehabilitation in the last 20 years. The resolution of the House followed the consideration and adoption of a motion moved by Lagos lawmaker Oluwaseun Winger during a plenary session presided over by the Deputy Speaker, Mr. Benjamin Kalu. The federal government owned 4 petroleum refineries in Port Harcourt, 2 plants, and a plant each in Warri and in Kaduna. Managed by the NNPCL, the refineries have suffered from personnel rot, owing to factors ranging from poor administration, vandalism, and development that has left the nation with no option but to rely on imported refined product. And recently, businessman Aliko Dangote argued that... Okay, let's take this call. Hello, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, West Radio.
Good morning to you, Mr. Salami from Awoto.
My neighbor, God bless you, sir.
God bless you too.
Good morning, Mr. Sonny.
Morning, sir.
How are you, sir? Oh, yes, sir. You see, for me, first and foremost, on the issue of Mr. Naji, I think by now, Mr. President should have deemed it necessary to even apologize to Nigeria for appointing a criminal as his minister. Because anybody who could think of forging a certificate to me is a criminal. And I believe by now, Mr. President should have even apologized to Nigeria. I'm sorry, Nigeria. Pardon me. That's it. Then, on the appointment of INEC chair, I think, and I would recommend that that responsibility should be shadowed to National Institute of Policy and Strategy Studies. They should be the one. I'm just suggesting that the national bodies that can do the job. They should advertise it and let people kind of have up to 3 or 5, let people apply, and from that, screen the applicants to like 3 or 5, then present the 3 or 5 to Mr. President. Mr. President will take same list to the National Council of State, then they will vote. So everybody, then based on the voting pattern by the National Council of State, they will then pick the one that has the highest vote. So by that way, it will not be seen as if Mr. President has the sole, the one now that's appointing the national chair of INEC. That's my submission. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Salami. That's your thought. Good idea there. Hopefully, pulls through someday. But let's stay with the refinery story. Here, the story explains there's a probe currently going on, probing NNPCL over the $18 billion refinery spending. Do you think this is late or too early? Or how do you describe this probe at a time like this?
I don't have faith in it, and because this is not the first time we will be hearing of such. I can remember that at least maybe 2 or 3 times in this year we have had. Okay,
let's take this. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Honorable Chief KY.
Good morning, Mr. Mario. Thank you for calling. Good morning, sir. Good morning.
I'm going to be a bit deeper on the issue of the certificate saga this morning again. Because one thing is in this part of the world, I think we have to look at competence and we have to look at certificates. We have some young chaps who does not go to the 4 walls of the classroom, but they are good at innovating new ideas. They are good at developing things that will be useful for humanity. Not the next, we see so many of them. They don't go.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Go ahead. We can hear you now.
All right. Now we have certificate. If I have an organization and you have a certificate and you don't have intelligence, and it's like if you are someone that you have a certificate, you don't have certificate, you don't have intelligence, and you are someone that has a certificate, and so you have intelligence, and otherwise it's sharp. I will go for your intelligence. Certificate is just a mere number. You have so many people that even got certificates, they don't go to the course of the council. They pay their money, and you cannot even get the fact that the certificate of the field. So I think competence is the key. So I'm not saying what the guy did. What he did is very bad. Of course, it's something that I condemn, that is a condemnable act. But I think we have to look towards the issue of intelligence as well. And lastly, on the issue of the kind of chairman, see, I'm not about personality. I'm not about the guy. I'm not after the guy that just left you now. But what I'm after is I want some.
Oh, sorry, we lost your call. Thank you so much, Mr. Mario. Please do call us back. Hello, good morning to you. Good morning to you, Mr. George from Ologweru. Thank you for calling.
Mr. George from Ologweru.
Thank you so much, Mr. George. Good morning.
Yeah, we are still following the same old roads that has made us to fall into this embarrassment. The name of Amukwito has been on the social media for the past 3 days before going to the national
2 weeks, sir. 2 weeks, sir.
I thank you very much. I didn't know you saw it. It has been there, and it's the same hand taken by the president. If we want to correct this thing, let's correct it once and for all. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Mr. George. Let's stay with the story, the NNPCL. Let me get your review very quickly because of our time.
I do not believe in. Some people have even said that maybe they are broke. The election is coming and they want to. Then you cannot take all of that money without dropping something. That is what some people are saying. Is it my opinion? I don't know. But the truth of the matter is that I have heard this at least 1 billion and 1 times. Should I tell you something, sir? There is something that is just flying under the radar now, and I got wind of it. They said even one of our admins in the country that, does something as regards a refinery is even importing petrol right now. And the quality of the petrol is terrible. I mean, that's something our regulators need to look into. That's that.
It is well. Before we go, let's talk about the national honors very quickly. Tinubu clears 959 for national honors. Addressing State House correspondent after the meeting, the Permanent Secretary of the Cabinet Affairs said the President approved the report of National Honors Award Committee for 2024-2025. 959 in that one. And also, Bola Tinubu pardoned Herbert Macaulay, Vatsa, Farouk Lawan, 172 others. Let me get your thought in on that before we go.
But Macaulay, perfect. Vatsa, perfect. The cap banker, wow. I mean, a lot of people might have forgotten, but what's it called? Farouk Lawan was convicted by the High Court, and the judgment was validated by the Court of Appeal and also the Supreme Court. And this guy was accused of demanding for $3 million in bribe. That's almost 5 billion from Femi Otedola. Femi Otedola didn't give him all the $3 million, but at least he gave him a substantial part of the $3 million. And the guy was convicted for doing that. And now the president has said that such a person should not be seen as someone who is guilty. Guess what the guy said immediately? He said his hope has been renewed. Guess what the slogan of the president is? Renewed hope. They are just using Nigerians to play soccer. That's all.
Thank you so much, Mr. Lally, concerning your perspective. Thank you so much for your time on the show today. It's a pleasure having you around again.
It is always an honor to be here.
Thank you so much for your state. That's all we can take this morning. Join Agbe Agbomagbe by 8 o'clock for Yoruba listeners. I'm sure more stories will be revealed there, and you can still call in to share your thought in Yoruba language. It's the weekend. Let's take things very easy. Relax when you need to. Drink water as many liters as you can. Water is life. And remember to put a smile on your face because it looks very good on you. God bless you. Thank you for listening. Join Chukwemeka Munachiso tomorrow on the roundtable with the gentleman and the big 7 stories with Bolali Oduekwayola 8:30 p.m. on Saturday. Thank you so much for listening once again. Good morning and God bless you.
Please listen to this important information. The views expressed by the interviewee in this program are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of Wells Radio 89.3 FM or its affiliated entities. Wells Radio 89.3 FM is committed to providing a platform for diverse perspectives and opinions, and the views expressed by guests on our programs are their personal viewpoints. Wells Radio 89.3 FM does not endorse or take responsibility for the content or opinions expressed by individual interviewees and callers. Thank you.